Hello everyone and welcome to episode 3 of Global Rewilding News, where we bring you practical, uplifting, hopeful stories from rewilders all around the world. Happy New Year and welcome to the next episode. I'm May from the Global Rewilding Alliance. Let's get to it. As we look back on last year, we've been reflecting on the outcome of COP28. While many were left with the feeling that it's not enough, we must recognise the progress that we've made. A just 1.5 degrees Celsius transition, the global goal on adaptation, climate finance and nature are all at the heart of the first global stocktake outcome, and the language of fossil fuel phase out was first introduced to the table, a huge step historically. The first day of COP28 climate talks saw delegates adopt a new fund to help vulnerable nations tackle the costs of responding to climate disasters driven by the climate crisis. Also, the need for enhanced support and finance for developing countries was flagged as a critical enabler of climate action. The outcome has also shown the importance of collaboration and continued contributions from cities, businesses, youth and indigenous peoples to turn promises into action and meaningful progress. We are particularly proud to say that nature was welcomed to the table this year, with the outcome clearly highlighting the importance of conserving, protecting and restoring nature and ecosystems in line with the coming Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework.
Hi, so up next, Dominica in the Caribbean has created the world's first ever protected areas for sperm whales. The coast of Dominica serves as a vital feeding and breeding ground for these magnificent species, with 800 square kilometers already being protected. The government's decision is an important step towards sperm whale conservation, which will have a rippling effect on interconnected species and the island's biodiversity. It also actively contributes toward climate change mitigation, as sperm whales are climate heroes. Growing science links the restoration of wild animal populations with carbon storage of ecosystems and landscapes, a process known as animating the carbon cycle. So restoring this marine ecosystem with the whales and all of the other species present could draw down vast amounts of carbon.
Wolves have returned to the Rocky Mountains. For the first time in 80 years, the howl of wolves will return to the Colorado's Rocky Mountains after a 2020 vote on their reintroduction. Although rewilders involved have underlined the essential involvement of locals to the success of the reintroduction. Once the wolves become established in the area, the agency will work with people living nearby to minimise conflict. Dan Gibbs, the executive director of the Colorado Department of Natural Resources, says, "My hope and my philosophy is really that we will learn to live with wolves and not against wolves."
Blue whales return to the Indian Ocean. Across the ocean, the world's largest animal made its return to the Seychelles coast after decades, returning once again to breed in the marine protected area spanning 400,000 kilometres squared. This is another testament to the incredible capacity that wild animals have to rebound when given the chance, and to the impact of positive national efforts to protect and restore nature. There's also a beautiful film linked in the bio below, Blue Whales, Return of the Giants.
Next up, Brazil has made a call to launch a global financing framework for tropical forests at COP28. The proposed $250 billion Tropical Forests Forever funding mechanism aims at conserving the world's rainforests and would be sourced from governments and the private sector, and would disperse money to tropical countries that achieve set thresholds for limiting deforestation. This comes after Lula's re-election and his aim for Brazil to lead on climate targets. In the first 10 months since his return to the office, deforestation in the Brazilian Amazon dropped by 50% compared to the previous year.
Next up, dedicated volunteers in the Sundarbans, the world's largest delta where India meets Bangladesh, are actively restoring mangrove forests in order to help protect their communities against the danger of cyclones and climate change, but also to restore and protect the biodiversity hotspot, which is the home of protected and endangered species such as the northern river terrapin and the Ganges dolphin. With 800,000 saplings planted since 2014 and an 80% survival rate, there is hope that the Bengal state's goal of planting 50 million mangrove trees will be achieved. This collaborative effort highlights a symbiotic relationship and enhances the importance of treating nature and ecosystems as our partners in our survivals.
Next up, the UK government has released a temperate rainforest strategy to recover and expand essential rainforest, which now only makes up 1% of the country. Whilst there's a lot of work to be done, this is a step towards securing a future for endangered wildlife and plant life.
The Centre for Biological Diversity, an alliance partner, has succeeded on their long-standing campaign to protect the wolverine, a tenacious and daring scavenger predator. After decades of campaigning, just last week, the wolverine population are protected as threatened under the Endangered Species Act in the lower 48 US states.
Next, Foundation Conservation Carpathia has won the prestigious Bibee Award for their conservation in the Parakeets Mountains. The Bibee Awards, now in its 75th year, honours individuals and organisations who have achieved outstanding feats, specifically their Our Earth category in respect to an outstanding commitment to nature. The Bibee jury said that they are a role model for their commitment and dedication to nature. Through their project, they are creating the basis for nature, which is under constant pressure. The Foundation's goal is to establish a Parakeets Mountains National Park and transform it into an emblematic European park for the benefit of nature, the local population, and all those living around the mountains, which are representative of Romania.
Around the world, there are stories of people working to bring wildlife back to where it belongs. One of our newest partners, Bibee Bird Rescue, is doing just that by working to eliminate the trade of wild-caught parrots and rehabilitating previously captive parrots back into the wild. In the 20 years since it was founded, Bibee Bird Rescue has successfully rehabilitated and returned nearly 1,000 birds back into the wild and has cared for over 200 species of native birds. As well as rehabilitation and reintroductions, the organisation has worked in partnership with the Belize Forest Department to implement a licensing programme to tag and monitor non-releasable, well-cared-for parrots already in captivity, aiming to end the captive wild trade. They've also worked to educate the public about wild birds, generating empathy for the plight of captive parrots and changing attitudes that have been ingrained for generations. Bibee Bird Rescue is a great reminder that you don't need huge swathes of land and deep pockets to make a difference. Sometimes it just takes a leap of faith.
Lastly, here's the quotation of the week. Wilderness is not a luxury, but a necessity of the human spirit and as vital to our lives as water and good bread. Edward Abbey, American author and essayist. Go check out our other YouTube video to hear of news of the new bison calf at the Wilderbleen Bison Project. So that's it for now. Thank you for joining us on the Global Rewilding News, and thank you for helping us build the rewilding movement. If you like what we do, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Like the video and hit the bell to receive a notification when we post next. See you next time.